Okay, let's get started. We only have a few people, but more will come. More will come. This is the earliest class that I have, that you have. And as I say always, good morning, Yoga. I love morning classes because I'm in the best of my energies. Morning, Tang. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to this week, to week 5. I hope that all of you had a great weekend. I hope that all of you are doing well. I hope that you are starting to enjoy the weather, to start to enjoy the opening of things. Actually, Toronto, if you don't know, but Toronto in the Peel region is starting to open phase 2 tomorrow. It means that you can have a haircut. It means that you can go out to eat if you want. Yes, time is really flying thing. So, as I mentioned briefly before, I have already booked my haircut for this week. So the bush will be coming down, will be get trimmed. Yes, a good summer. Yeah, actually, this weekend was the first Saturday, I think. First day of summer. So Saturday, the weather was gorgeous. At night was awesome. Sunday, a bit hot, but still, I mean, I change hot. Change cold for hot at any point in time, July, yes, July. 2020 will be in our memories forever, younger. Let me tell you this. One day, maybe you'll be looking at your grandkids. Maybe I'll be looking at my grandkids and I'll be saying, I was there. I lived through that. I lived through the big COVID epidemic, You're gonna be saying that one day. Anyway, so what is it that I have to share with you today? Well, let's start by sharing the survey. The survey, remember last week I asked you to fill out the survey of stop, start, and continue. So I'm gonna share the results. I'm not gonna go into every single piece of feedback. I just aggregate the feedback. I really appreciate the fact that you took the time to provide feedback. It's really valuable, and you're gonna see it really helps me to shape how things will move forward from here. Okay, not that I do every single suggestion that is given, but I take the ones that are most frequently mentioned and I'll act on them. Okay, so I'm going to share the results here. Let's see. Okay, so based on the feedback from last week, and this is actually a combination of all sections. I'm teaching 3 sections, so I combined the results on all 3 of them because I use the same style on all 3. So what should I be stopping? Well, breakouts. I should be stopping breakouts. Well, I'm just saying that this came out a lot, but I have to tell you, breakouts, I won't stop, because you have to get used to working in groups, and now working in groups in a remote environment. You have to get used to that. It's not a matter of I don't like that. It's a matter of I have to know how to make that work, because it's a fact. You're gonna be working with teams in the job market. You're gonna be working maybe remotely as well. Who knows? So you have to get now. It was a mix here, because a lot of people, they like breakouts. A lot of people, they don't like breakouts. The same thing with group work. A lot of people don't like group work, but you have to do group work because you have to work in groups in the industry, So again, I'm just recognizing that this came out, Sona, good morning. This came out quite frequently, but I will be keeping breakouts. I will be keeping breakouts because that's how you collaborate. Okay. Group presentation. This was very expected. We did that 2 weeks ago. We had that group presentation and some people didn't like that. Well, guess what? We're not gonna have more group presentations. Actually, there is one group presentation, but you're gonna have time ahead to prepare. So the very last week of the course, you're gonna be doing a group presentation from your project, about your project. But you're gonna have plenty of time to prepare for that. So I understand that this is based on that group presentation that we have done a few weeks ago, 2 weeks ago. That's fine. Music. So music, here's the thing. And we're gonna do something about that. So music, there are people that love the music, people that don't like the music. So what I'm gonna do is, and the other thing is that putting the music via my cell phone to the mic, it gets distorted. So I'm sharing the link, the playlist, the Spotify playlist. I'm sharing on, actually let me share here as well. I put that on eCentennial. So if you go to eCentennial, content, and if you go to links, you're gonna see the Spotify playlist. That's my playlist. So instead of me imposing that you have to listen to my music, well, I'm not gonna put any more music from my mic. You have the choice to listen by yourself. If you want to listen to this playlist, you have to open an account with Spotify. It can be a free account. So just to listen to this playlist, or I think that to anything, you can open a free account. If you want more advanced features, then you have to pay. But that's fine. A free account will do it. So here's the link. The link is there on eCentennial. The link is here in the chat. In our exercise time, you have the option to open the playlist, to listen to your own music. That's fine. But again, I will stop playing from here because again, I'm imposing to you to listen to my music. And on top of that, the quality is not good because it's going through the mic. And by the time it gets to you, it gets distorted. So I get it. So again, you have the option to listen to the playlist or not listen to. It's really up to you. Okay. Yes, Mazir. So, but I understand that. I understand that because one, the quality is not that great when it comes through the mic, you know. And two, some people may not like the music. I mean, we have to understand that music is a very personal, particular thing, you know. Maybe that kind of music bothers some people, and some people like it. So, I mean, again, who am I to judge and impose my music preferences, you know? So it's something that I heard, but again, some people like, but if you like, that's fine. You can just open the link and play it on your own as you see fit. Okay, so that was about the music. Okay, others. Padlet removal. Okay, so Padlet, I heard this as well, and I understand that. So I use the same board for every single class, okay? So I have to clean the board as we progress through the classes. So we have a clean slate. Now, some people say, okay, but I wanted to see what was posted before. I get it. So what I'll try to do is this. Before I clean the board, I will save as a PDF and I will post that board in the corresponding week so you can use that as a reference point and under eCentennial. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna try to be doing so you don't lose what has been posted on Padlet. Okay, so that was about Padlet and the fact that we clean Padlet. And questions for bonus. Actually, I think this is a good point as well. Some people say, oh, but I don't have 3 questions about the contents for the bonus. and you ask for 3 questions, and I have to come up with a third question. Okay, that's fine. I understand that. So instead of forcing, quote unquote, forcing to ask 3 questions, what I'm gonna do is this. I'm gonna ask you to post 3 points, things that you got out of the videos or you got out of the bonus. What did you understand about that? What were your takeaways? So you can write 2 takeaways in 1 question, 3 takeaways and no questions, 1 takeaway and 2 questions. So you can mix in your takeaway, in your bonus, you can ask questions and you can put takeaways as well. So instead of forcing you to ask questions, it can be takeaways and it can be questions. It can be a mix of them. Okay, so I'll be doing that going forward as well. Any questions about this top? Okay, so moving forward here, start. So more examples, more hands-on. So a lot of people ask for more examples, more hands-on. I'll be trying to do that. Hands-on, to be quite honest, I think that we have a good amount of hands-on. It's this classes, I try to have this class as very much a hands-on class. I mean, I drive the content via hands-on exercises, okay, via hands-on practice. Now, the thing with MVC is that even a very simple exercise will require a lot of effort to put together a new project. You have to create the folders, you have to create the files, you have to create this and create that. And by the time that you get to one exercise, you are already 20 minutes into that, you know. So it's very hard to, with MVC, to do very, very quick exercises, because even the simplest application with MVC requires a lot of setup. But I recognize that, and I'll try to see if I can come up with more examples, more exercises, okay? More lecturing. Okay, so here, I hear that, but to be quite honest, I'm not going to be doing much about that. As I told you from the beginning, I practice active learning here. So I try to minimize the amount of time that I keep talking, because you don't learn from me talking. You learn from you doing. So my style of teaching is you do it and I will help you. That's how I'll help you to learn. My teaching strategy is different from a lot of other instructors' strategies. A lot of people that comes from other countries with a very traditional system will see this as, whoa, he's not talking a lot, he's not lecturing a lot. Yeah, I'm not lecturing a lot, and I won't be lecturing a lot, because that's not, in my opinion, that's not the best way for you to learn. Because think about this, you are here not for me to teach you. You are here for you to learn. So I'm applying the best approach that I consider for you to get to that result, which is your learn, your growth. Okay? So I don't think it's me talking, it's you doing. So that's my style. Again, I recognize that some people expect more lecturing, but it's not with me. It's not my approach. My approach is active learning, is a flipped classroom. So get used to that. Others, I heard about breaks. We don't have enough breaks. Well, you know, we have 2 hours only, and I'm already giving, you know, the 5 minutes break there. So I truly think that our 5 minutes is enough. I don't see how we can make more breaks, within our 2 hours. Okay, so, and actually a few people asked for me to provide some time management tips. And because of this COVID thing, and we working from home, and so I have some, and I'll be sharing today. a few time management tips with you as soon as I'm done with this survey presentation. I have a presentation about time management. I have strong opinions about time management, and I try to apply them quite a lot. So I have two things to talk about time management, but I'll do that in a second. I'll take about 5-10 minutes just to talk a little bit about time management for you to maybe organize yourself a little bit better, and see how you can focus. So time management tips, this is coming. And continue doing. Again, thank you for the feedback. A lot of people, put everything, continue to do everything that you do. Appreciate that. More specific ones, continue doing the bonuses. Continue doing exercise at the same time that some people ask for more exercises, but some people say that, continue doing the exercise that you are doing, the things that we have been doing. So thank you for that. Exercises, videos as well, videos that I keep sharing, videos that I record and I publish that. Okay, so this is it, and other things, music. So again, now I found a way that I can give you the option whether you want to listen to the music or not. It's really up to you. You can access the link, or you can put your own music, your own style there if you want to. If you don't want, again, no music, that's fine. And continue doing quizzes. So I really like the quizzes too. I'll keep incorporating quizzes as we go through the content, as we go through major topics. Okay, great. Any questions? Any questions about the survey? Anything that you'd like to mention? Let me see. I mean, you can do it publicly here in the chat. You can do it via Padlet. Again, anything there from anyone? Okay, no? Okay, great. So, okay, clue cards. Okay, Joanna, I saw a little bit about the clue cards there, 1 or 2 mentions, and I just had a full slide already, so I didn't add clue cards. But yes, clue cards have been mentioned as well in terms of continuing. I really like doing it, and it does add, it does help to have those clues in mind when you are doing the exercise. So I'll keep trying to add clue cards to more exercise as well. That's a good point, Joanna. Thank you for reminding me of that. Okay, great. Okay, so moving forward, as I said, I would like to share my thoughts on time management. Okay, time management. Anyone with problems with time management? Time management, let me tell you, I struggle, and I'm not perfect. I still struggle with that. I still struggle with working from home and having a lot of things to get done, and what to do. I mean, what should I do next? What should I be focusing on? So I want to again just try in 10 minutes to see if I can give you some suggestions here. This is not perfect. This is an approach that I have come across a few years ago, and it's called, and I had this presentation. I actually have a video to share, and you can watch this later. But I had a 5 minutes time slot in a conference a few years ago in 2016, and I presented this, and you can have a laugh on that presentation because it was not one of my best, because the presentation is like this. You have 5 minutes and you have 20 slides. So 5 minutes, 20 slides. Okay, help me out here. 4 slides per minute. So every 15 seconds, the slide moves forward automatically. So again, you have to keep up your presentation and together with the slides. So it's quite a lot of pressure in front of a lot of people. But here is what I'd like to present. It's really about procrastination. Or how can we take control of our procrastination? I can tell you, I'm a procrastinator. I'm paying. Oh, you see, it's automatically. I don't want this to go automatically because I cannot handle that at this point. So I'm gonna go slowly here. Okay. So I just did my taxes 2 weeks ago, and it was late already. I had been procrastinating with my taxes for about 3 months, and finally I said, enough. I'll be paying a penalty now because I'm late. So within a week, I did my taxes. But I have been procrastinating with that for about 3 months. So again, how can you take control of that? So I'm gonna share one approach. One approach with you. This presentation is going. Okay, so let's go through this here. So, okay, no, let me stop the animation here, because well, I don't know. Yes, tomato timer. Yes, thank. It seems that you have heard about that. So, yeah, I don't know how to disable. That's okay. That's okay. Anyway, tomato. Let's talk about the Pomodoro timer. Okay, what is the deal with this Pomodoro timer? Oh, you use it. So are you a fan of that? Oh, that's good. That's good. Awesome. So how does that work? Well, here's the thing. There's this technique called the Pomodoro technique. It was invented by an Italian guy, a professor, back in the 80s or 90s. And the idea is very simple. Let me see if I can. At the beginning of your day, what you do is this. You list whatever you want to accomplish in that day. Just list them up. List them up in a Word document, in a text document. I use Evernote. Okay? So list them up. List what you need to get done that day. List all of them. It doesn't matter if it's a long list or not, but list them up. Okay? And then what you do is you size them. You size each one of your tasks. And I'm gonna show you actually my example. Yes, it started to take time, Yoga. But let's see if we can try this. So I'm gonna show my example of today. Actually, I did this already today. So let's see what I can share here, what can be shared publicly. Yes, this is good enough. This is good. So look, again, I'm not saying that I'm perfect. I'm just sharing what I do. So look at this. Here's my to-do for the day, for Tuesday. So every day, beginning of the day, I list things. I list what I need to accomplish that day. Does it mean that I'm going to accomplish everything? No, it does not. But it just means that I have an overview of what I want to accomplish, okay? So what I do is I have my tasks here, and I have my way of putting things. Send means Centennial, and this is a client of mine. And what I do is I say, okay, I need to get back to my students at Centennial. Okay, so how many Pomodoros will I allocate for that? Well, I think that 25 minutes should be enough for me to answer the emails from my students. So this little box here means 1 Pomodoro or 25 minutes. So what I do is I set the timer, and by timer, I don't like the clicking. I don't like the clicking because it bothers me. So I just put the timer of a watch, and I say, for the next 25 minutes, I'm just gonna answer emails from my students. That's the only thing that I'm gonna do. And I put the timer, and I just do that. I shut down mail, I shut down any distraction. I'm just focused on that. I know I have a lot to do that day, but right now, in that 25 minutes, the only thing that I'm gonna do is I'm gonna answer emails from my students. At the end of the 25 minutes, I get a break. I get a 5 minutes break. And with that 5 minutes, I have the choice of what am I gonna do. I don't know, I can go for a walk at home. In my case, because I have some back pain, I do some stretching, I stand up, and I go and I grab more water because I keep drinking water all day long. But you have a 5 minutes break. Then, so you work for 25 minutes on that task and that task alone. Don't let anything else bother you. And come on, 25 minutes of focus is not a lot. It's not to ask you a lot, okay? So it's not that you're gonna allocate 2 hours of your time to do just one thing. No, 25 minutes. 25 minutes goes like this, just this fast, okay? So 25 minutes there, and then 5 minutes, you give yourself a break. After you are done with your break, you come back, and you may say, you know what? I'm done with my emails. Or, and then great, you can go to the next task. If you are not done, you can think, okay, so I'm not done. I can give another 25 minutes slot for the same task, or I can move on to the next task and come back to this one later at another time. So you can decide to stick with your current task or move on to the next one. But the key is you are focusing your mind, your effort during those 25 minutes. So let me see here. Joanna has a question here. What if time is up, but you haven't finished the current? Yes. So that's what I just addressed, Joanna. So again, you come back and you have the option. Should I continue this, or should I walk away and revisit this later, maybe tomorrow, maybe later in the day, but again, at another time? Because here's the problem. The problem that you may come across is that here, we have 25 minutes, not finished. Another 25 minutes, not finished. Another 25 minutes, not finished. So you're going to spend the whole day with that task? Well, you can. But here is another concept that I want to quickly mention. I want to quickly mention about something that is called The One Thing. There's actually a book that is called The One Thing. And what is the one thing? And I have my one thing for the day. See, look at this one here. This task is my one thing for the day today. The one thing, you can think about that as, what is the most important thing of your day that you need to get done? Because, and this might be a long-term project that you need to get accomplished. You have to answer that yourself. What is, it might be, in my case, because I'm putting together a course an online course that I want to offer on Udemy. Actually, I'm 1 week away from doing that, from having that done. That's my one thing. I chose that. What is your one thing? I chose that. Because then what I do is that if there is one thing in the day that I need for sure to get accomplished, it's my one thing. Again, what's your one thing? Maybe your one thing is that project that you need to deliver, on Comp 229 by Friday. Maybe that's your one thing. So allocate enough time for your one thing of the day. And also try to move whatever is your one thing. And again, it has to be only one thing. It cannot be, I want to finish this project and I want to finish assignment 1 from Comp 229 and assignment 1 from Comp, I don't know, whatever it is. It cannot be two things, because then it will be called two things. No, it's one thing. What is your must of the day? And then try to get that must done as soon as possible in the day. Today, I cannot do that. My one thing is a little bit later, because I have this class from 8:30 to 10:20, and then I have a meeting with a client from 10:30 until 11:30. So I cannot do my one thing early in the day, because it's already early enough. But the idea is that bring your one thing earlier in the day, because let me tell you this, when you are done with your one thing of the day, everything else that you do on that day, it's almost like a bonus. I'm done with my one thing. So whatever I can do afterwards, it's almost like a bonus. It feels good because you accomplished something. You check that thing that is supposed to be the most important thing of the day for you. And once you do that, It's almost like your mind gets released from that pressure, and now you carry on with your day and you do the other things that you need to get done, but you already accomplished the most important thing already. Let's see here. Yeah, so let's see. And again, I book my lunch time, class time. I have a power nap. Let me tell you, everyone, again, this is not for everyone, but as you are working from home, as you are studying from home, if you are able to take a nap, like late in the, this works for me so well because I'm a bit of a workaholic, I have to say. So I take this power nap. I take a nap of 1 hour from today, for instance, it will be from 4:30 to 5:30. After that, I'm ready to work from 6 until 10 in the evening. Again, I'm a workaholic, I know. So again, but nap, let me tell you, it really helped me to stay and become productive. I'm full of energy after a 1 hour nap, Again, not for everyone, but if you can, give it a try. What else? Even call my mom. I have it scheduled here for 1 Pomodoro. But again, look, yesterday, do you think that I'm perfect? I'm not. Look at yesterday. Look. I did my one thing. I'm glad and I'm happy with that. Great. But I did not do a lot of things, Now, see, I did a lot of things, but I didn't do quite a few things in my must list. But I did my one thing. And for that, I'm proud, and for that, I had a productive day. I consider it to be a productive day. Okay, so I didn't really go through the presentation. Again, I'm gonna share a video with you of my presentation so you can watch that. But let me ask you this: does it make sense to anyone? I mean, any questions that I can answer? I mean, does that help you? I don't know. Give it a try. I mean, you only saw me talking here. The best way is really for you to try to practice this. Any questions that I could clarify, or like Joanna asked there? Younger, what's your experience with the Pomodoro? I mean, is that you and Tang? Yes. It helps you focus. Okay, focus on one thing. Yeah. That's really what the Pomodoro is. It's 25 minutes of focus time, no distractions, nothing. Again, there are more details about Pomodoro technique. There is a book, and there is a website, a book. If you go to pomodorotechnique.com, it's not mine. It's again this professor from Italy that put this together quite a few years ago. Yes, you can download an app. There's an app. Actually, I have a slide with that. There's an app for that. There's the Pomodoro timer. There is actually, I have my own IoT device, Pomodoro device, right besides me here. So I use this little guy here. This is my Pomodoro timer. I can show you another day how it works, but it's my Internet of Things Pomodoro. Anyway, let's leave it here. Okay. I bought the hardware, but then what you can do, Tang, you can code it, you can program it, how it works. Okay, so what I do is I have it has lights around it, and what I do is in the 25 minutes timer, I have a red light going around, which means 25 minutes. When 25 minutes is done, I start a green light, which is a 5 minutes green light going around, and it goes like that, But I put together the coding. I didn't get the code from anywhere. This is a device. The hardware is not. I didn't build the hardware. I bought the hardware, but it has a chip, and it has a Wi-Fi. It's a Wi-Fi based chip, And I coded it with. It's called. I don't remember right now, but I can. If you want to follow up, I can send you some information about the device itself. It's not a Raspberry Pi, Juhi. It's Ionic. Not Ionic. Sorry. I don't remember right now. There is a brand. It's close to Raspberry Pi, but well, this particular one, if you put on Google internet button, you're gonna see it. It's called, this one is it's called, the product is internet button. The company, I don't recall right now on top. No, it's not an Arduino. Yeah. Yeah, Joanna. Yeah, that's good. I mean, Gen Eds, they help with that kind of thing, you know. Yes, and let me tell you, when you are overwhelmed with things to get done, the one thing helps a lot to see, okay, I have all of this. What is one thing that I could do that could make an improvement in my overall, tasks? And then schedule that throughout the day. You don't have to be perfect, but just one of my mantras is progress, not perfection. So if you have a list, even if you don't do a lot of pomodoros, but progress towards that, to keep your mind focused, still and calm, and again focus, so you can concentrate and you can get stuff done. Anyway, I hope that this was useful. I don't want to drag this over too much. Let's move forward. If there's anyone, I'll send the link to the presentation I put together, the video that is this one. So yeah, and if anyone wants to follow up, by all means, follow up with me if you want more information. I'm always here to assist. I'm always interested to talk about productivity, to talk about time management, to talk about, doing more with the time that we have in our hands, okay? I'm always up for a talk about that. Okay, so let's move forward here because we do have one thing to cover today. We should do that for class, What's the one thing for each class? Okay, so let me get to our week here. So survey, Pomodoro. I have a checklist for each class, no? Check. Okay, so today I would like to start by, let me close this. I'm gonna show you one project, a recipe project from a student of a previous semester. Because I see that some people are a bit confused about what are the expectations about this assignment, this recipe assignment, okay? So I want to run this particular one from this student, not from this semester, from a previous semester, because I found it to be a very simple but well put together, and that can be, you can use that as a reference point as you finish your assignments. A lot of people have already submitted theirs, that's fine, but I just want to show you this one here. You don't have to make it exactly like this, but I want to show you this one here. Look what the student did. So here we have a very simple homepage. It doesn't need to be fancy like this, but look, he had put an image as the logo, an image of some vegetables, of a dish here. So it is demonstrating that he knows how to add image to the application. Then what he did, we have the home page, which is this page. You can navigate to the recipe list, and you can navigate to add a new recipe. Okay, so in the recipe list, it shows the list of recipes, and at the very end, it has this column called action. The first icon, it allows you to see more details about that recipe, which is the view recipe. You can have an icon like that. You can click on the name of the recipe and you could go to the view recipe. So as I click there, look, this is called honey mustard and green beans. If I click there, it's loading baked apple chips. But remember, assignment 1 is all hard-coded, okay? So you don't need to bring dynamic information. that this is okay, because we don't want to create one view recipe for each recipe. So we are just clicking and going to a generic view recipe there. If I go back and I click the second one, it goes to the same view recipe, okay? I could hit the back button so it goes back. So again, you have the list and you have the view to view the details, all the details about that recipe. Next icon here, you have the review. This is where you're gonna enter the review. He just puts a big box here for the person to review the recipe, to type something here. This is a good recipe. It's not saving, even though it says save, right, review here, it doesn't save. That's fine. That's fine. What I would like to happen is, if it clicks on save review, go back to the recipe list. Go back there. But again, now we have home, recipe list, add recipe, view recipe, review recipe. We have all of them here. Nothing has been loaded dynamically. Everything here is hard-coded in the HTML. The other icons are not working. He just put there for, for future references. But that's it. That's how it should flow. Any questions from anyone? Okay, again, just to give you a reference point, you don't need to copy this exactly, but hopefully this gives you a view into what could be an option to put together the recipe for the assignment 1, okay? Great, so let me close this. Okay, Juhi, can the recipe list be flex style? Juhi, I'm not sure what you mean by flex style, if it's just, yeah, what do you mean by flex style? Joanna, this one has no models folder. This one. Yeah, this one that I had open, I'm assuming. Because here's the thing, we didn't really have to do any coding, any dynamic coding at all. I don't know if I don't think I'm asking for a models folder yet, or models, because it's not using any model yet. In the future, for future assignments, as we develop our models and things like that, then you can put things in place. But if I did not explicitly ask for models folder to be on assignment 1, it's because, we don't have a model yet created. I don't think that assignment 1 has a need for a model. Join, I can double check that, but I don't think it asks specifically for a model. Okay. Yeah, so Juhi, if flex style, if it's CSS related thing, I mean, I'm not sure. That's okay, Joanna, that's okay. If you put models folder, that's fine. That's all good. It's just that it would not be necessary yet to have it there, but that's fine. So Juhi, if you want to put some styling there, and the CSS is called flex style, that's okay. You can use a different style. That's fine. Okay. Okay. So just to give you a brief overview about that one. No problem. No problem. Okay. So what's the topic of this week? Well, let's focus on that for a little bit here. We have a very important topic. Web application development, week 5, MVC application development. We are talking about a topic covered on chapter 8. We're going to start actually for the next few weeks, even about 4 weeks actually, 3-4 weeks. We're going to be developing a project called Sports Store. It's kind of an e-commerce store system that each chapter that you're going to go through, chapter 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 as well, it's going to be building on top of the previous one. So we're going to be working constantly, evolving this application that will start very simple, but it will become a shopping cart. A shopping cart that you're going to have products, we're going to have a back end so we can add more products, edit products, remove products. We're going to be able to ship products to order products, to put products in a shopping cart. So we're going to be doing all of that throughout the next several weeks, when we are now entering what I would call our second phase of this course, which is this project, this shopping cart, this sports store project. And that's starting today with chapter 8 of the book. So we're going to be going chapter 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. Okay? So for today, the objective is to understand data repository, working with databases, working with entity framework. Those are the things that we're going to be talking about today and in our next class as well. So this week is a database week. Okay, focus very much on database. Some of you asked, okay, in the survey, when are we going to be, integrating our application with database? Well, this is the week. Okay, hopefully you have done your bonus number 5. During bonus number 5, you have used a repository there. Can anyone tell me in the chat what was that repository about? I mean, can anyone recall what was that repository? What was the name of the repository? Yes, thank you, Tank. So, fake repository. So, with the bonus that I ask you to go through the first 3 videos of chapter 8, Sports Store, you put together a repository of fixed items, of hard-coded products, hard-coded in a fake repository. Why is it called fake repository? Because the repository was not real. The data was hard-coded in the code, okay? Exactly thing. The data was hard-coded. It was not dynamic data. It was a fake repository. It was a pretend repository. Now, we're going to be starting to work with databases. We're going to be starting to store the information in the database. Let me tell you this. This week, the database topic is a little bit heavy. It's a little bit complex. It has very many moving parts. So it's very important that you get a good grasp and you ask questions. You ask questions and you practice as we go along. Because if you don't practice, again, you don't get a good grasp. And then when I explain things, it will go over your heads. Okay? So, as usual, keep your questions about the videos that you went through on bonus 5. Keep them close by, so you get them addressed by Padlet, not only today, but in our next class as well. So keep them close by, okay? Okay, so let me get this here. 1 second. So if I ask you, what do you expect to get out of this week? What's your expectation? Anyone there in the chat, or if you want to verbally voice that, what's your expectations about this week, knowing that you're going to be talking about, well, database? What do you think that you're going to be able to do by the end of the week? What would you hope to be able to do by the end of this week, knowing that this is a topic? I'm gonna give you a timer. Now it's gonna annoy me. I cannot make it stop. Actually, my daughter broke it a few months ago. Yes, Salim, we're gonna be connecting to the database. We're gonna be interacting with the database. Not MySQL thing. We're not gonna be doing MySQL. We're gonna be using a light version of SQL Server. We are in a very Microsoft-oriented environment, okay? So we're gonna be using a light version of SQL Server, okay? And we're gonna be storing information in the database. We're gonna be querying the database to retrieve information. That's what we're gonna be doing. And you are all right connecting to the database. Sally, Younger, we're going to be interacting with database. We're going to be connecting, yes, connecting, saving data, retrieving data from the database. Okay, so let me open here. Let's see. Yeah, let me open here a. By the way, as we progress, I will be always sharing the source codes, and so far I have shared already the source codes of where we are. If we go to eCentennial, and if you go to files, now we have Sports Store Chapter 8, and under that you're gonna have the source codes for Chapter 8 up to part 04, up to video 04. I know I just asked you to do 1, 2, 3, but I have provided here up to part 04. So I'm gonna open the solution that hopefully you have worked with. Joey, yeah, understand database and framework repositories to set up the workflow yourself. That's what you're gonna be understanding. Again, a lot of moving components here, but hopefully it will start to make sense as we go along. So let me open a project here. Okay. Okay. Okay, so actually before let me show you this. I want to demonstrate for chapter 8 what is it that we are working towards. I want you to have a look at the end goal. Gonna make it run. What I'm demonstrating here is the end of chapter 8, what we are working towards. So at the end of chapter 8, we're gonna have this the beginning of this shopping cart. The end of chapter 8, the only thing that's gonna be really working is the capability of browsing products. You see, we have the URL there showing the page number. We go to page 3, page 1, and we see the list of products. Those products are coming from the database. We have a product name, we have a description, we have price as well. And again, as you can see, we page by every page has 4 items here. Okay, so that's what you're going to be doing. We're going to be putting together this using what? Using Bootstrap. You see that it looks relatively, nice, So it's using Bootstrap behind the scenes. So that's what you're going to be building throughout this week. I'm going to close it. And here is where we are. Okay. Let's see here. Okay. Okay. So this is where we are on step number 4 of the process of the videos, okay? So I have all the videos for all steps from all chapters. I'll be releasing them as we go along, okay? Okay, so far, this is where we are. We are using a fake product repository. Those products are hard-coded. I'm just gonna show you a few of the different pieces of that application that we have up to step number 4. Okay, so here we have our diagram, our well-known diagram. And this week, guess what? Look at this area and which component do you think we're going to be focusing mostly this week? Which one do you think? That's it, thing. Yes, we're going to be focusing on the model here, okay? So the database and entity framework, they are closely related to the model. Model is the one that's going to be connecting to the database, okay? Because what I want to do now is I want to explore the details of this model. Before we get to those details, let's do this. It's 9:25. Let's take 5 minutes just to refill the water, take a little break there, and when we come back, we're gonna be exploring the model deeper, okay? 5 minutes and we will be back. Okay, everyone, can you just quickly confirm that you can hear me well? Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, so just before we get going, I'm gonna be taking a quick attendance here. Okay, so Aslan, Anusha Basanta, Beno Infant, Barath, Galfang, Yuva, I don't know who you are, Yuva. Oh, sorry. Oh, okay, Basanta, okay. Basanta, again, let's try to to put the names a little bit more in line with what we have on Centennial's advice. I won't know. Okay. Okay, Gopika Gukirat Jayanth. Gopika Gukirat Jayanth. Okay, Joanna, you're there. Juhi, you're there. Karndeep, Manpreet, Mazir, you're there. Gukirat, Gopika, Gukirat as well. Okay, Juhi, Karndeep, and Manpreet. Nope. Mehmet, Bukahit, Nita. Mehmet, Bukahit, Nita. Oh, Nita, you're there. Pavani, Peitong, Prince, you're there. Pavani, Peitong, Prince, where are you, Prince? Ravi, Sali, okay. Ravi, you're there. Sali, you're there as well. Sali. Yep. Samarth, Sona, you're there. Samarth, Ravula. Ravula, no. Sayed, Tang, you're there. Sayed. Younger, you're there. Zanab, you're there. And Deng, are you around? Yep, okay, perfect, okay, great. So let's see here. Okay. So carrying on with what we were talking about. So we're going to be focused on database and entity framework, which is all around models. Last week we focused on views. This week we're going to be focused more on model. But as I said, there's no way that we can only do model and nothing else. We have to make this in context with an application that has all components. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to expand the models part. What do we see inside that models? Okay, so when you think about this application is a shopping cart that has things that goes on that shopping cart. If you think about the model, what is the first class or entity that you think about within this example, within the sports store exercise? What is the first one that comes to mind when you think about the models of the models of this application? Anyone think? Yes, that's the product. The product thing. The product is the first one that comes to mind, okay? Now, product means one product alone. But to deal with an application, we are dealing with a collection of products, okay? That's why we are actually using something called a repository. You can think about a repository as an in-memory place that we have our products. So right now, in the first part of your exercise of the sports store, we have a fake repository. A fake repository is a collection of products that is hard-coded. It's just in memory. It's not in the database, okay? So again, a repository, think about repository as it's the collection of my items. In this case, collection of products in the memory, in the memory of my application, okay? Now, we are using an I product repository. What is this I about? What this I means? What is that? Yes, it's an interface. An interface, let's reconnect with what we saw on Comp 123. That's why I told you, you better understand what we're talking about on Comp 123 because you're going to be using that on Comp 229. So, iProduct repository is a collection of products, but it's actually an interface. Remember that interface does not have what? What is it that the interface doesn't have? Or I'll make it a little bit more open. What do you remember about interface? Interface don't have constructors. You cannot instantiate an interface, okay? Because it does not have concrete implementation. It's just an abstraction. It's just a concept. You have to have classes inheriting from it to be able to implement that. And if I ask you that, which class in our first part of the exercise, which class is implementing iProduct repository? Which class is that? Which one is inheriting from iProduct repository? In the first part of our exercise within steps 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, Sally, the fake one. So we have a fake repository, a fake product repository. Okay, because again, fake is coming because it's all hard coded. Okay, so we have a concrete repository called fake product repository. Yes, thank the fake product repository, and they have a collection of products of type iQueryable. Okay, iQueryable, very similar to IEnumerable, very similar to lists. There's something particular about that, and I'll talk about that a little bit later. But the first implementation that we have for iProduct repository is a fake product repository. Let's have a look at that in our code. I'm gonna open the code, which, by the way, it's already available on Centennial, Files, Sports Store, Chapter 8. This code is available there already, okay? So let's have a look at the different components that we have already in place here. Let's look at the models. And in the models, you see your product. You see the products, very simple. Product ID, name, description, price, and category. Very simple class, very simple model, all auto-implemented properties. Okay, that's the product. Then we have our iProduct repository. Very simple one as well. It has only a read-only property called products of type iQueryable. Now, what is this iQueryable about? Let me just mention to you that you can think of iQueryable, IEnumerable, and lists as all very similar classes. Or actually, sorry, iQueryable is not a class, it's an interface. IEnumerable is not a class, it's an interface. But list inherits from both of them. Okay, so they are different types of lists. iQueryable, the advantage of using iQueryable is that the query mechanism, when later we connect to the database, the filtering mechanism happens in the database. If I say, give me all products from category outdoor camping. If you are using iQueryable, and iQueryable will go to the database and will only retrieve the items from the database that matches the condition of outdoor products. It brings only outdoor products. If we are using an IEnumerable here, or a list, what would happen is this. We would get all products to memory, and then in the memory, the filtering would happen. I only want products from outdoor category. So iQueryable is smarter because it filters the information before it gets to memory. The other ones are a little bit dumb. They are not that smart because they need to bring all products to memory and then perform the filtering. That's really all that you need to know at this point. What is the difference between iQueryable and list and IEnumerable? When we're dealing with data coming from the database, it's a better approach to use an iQueryable because it's more efficient memory-wise and performance-wise, okay? That's all you need to know for now about this. But we have an interface, we have a property not implemented, so we just have the definition here. We don't have the implementation. Again, interfaces, we don't have implementation, we just have the abstract methods, properties, and all of that. Okay, so we have a list of products. Okay, now we have, and for IEnumerable, when do we need to use it? Okay, so I think that you mean IEnumerable. So IEnumerable, Sally, usually we can use that when we are displaying the list of products, but even that, let me just check this. Even that, think we are using iQueryable here. Well, we are using iEnumerable from a compatibility perspective. Let me just double check one thing here. I think that in a way, to be quite honest, Sally, sometimes I find that myself confusing on where exactly you use one or the other. Let me just try one thing here. I think that they are very much interchangeable. Let me see if this makes any difference. I'm gonna keep this for a second. For now, let's keep using iQueryable all throughout, and when we see, we may come to place that we may see a problem, but for now, let's use iQueryable. Let's use iQueryable throughout when we are dealing with data coming from the database, and let's see if that will make any difference here, okay? Again, I know that I did not answer your question properly, but to be quite honest, sometimes I get confused myself too, you know? So for now, let's keep consistent throughout and just use iQueryable. Okay, so I'm here with the interface. Let's look at the implementation of iProduct repository via fake product repository. So on fake product repository, we are inheriting from iProduct repository, and we are saying now we have the definition of our get. Okay, so look what we have here. We have our lambda expression here. Okay, this is the same as this. I could have said something like this as well. I could have said get. When you use get, we use return. Return what? Return this new list. So look at this. This is the same as this one here. Oh, actually, I'm missing one. Yeah. Well, the reason why it's complaining is because there is already a products here. Okay, that's why. But this style, this get is the same thing as this one here, but using a lambda expression. Okay, you can use lambda expression with properties that have get only. Okay, that are read only, like this one. Okay, again, this is similar to this. The end result is the same. However, the first one is using lambda. The second one is using the traditional get. But this one, we are also building a get for this property here. Okay, that's just a different syntax. This is using lambda, and this is using the traditional get property. Okay, just wanted to explain. Lambda is for get only. That's correct thing. So lambda is for get only. It's only for gets. Okay. So the same thing, and I'm gonna comment out the second one. I'm just gonna keep the first one. So here, what I'm doing with the fake repository is that I'm creating a hard-coded list of products, and I'm adding. Remember, we know how to add, how to create a list of objects. Add a new list of products, and then new product for each line, and then I initialize the name and the price and the name and the price. At the very end, because this is an iQueryable, I have to convert this list to a type to a queryable. Okay, so I have to do the conversion so that they become compatible. That's why I have to use this at the very end. If I just do this one here, they are not compatible, and then you have this problem. You cannot directly convert. You have to use this squareable method, stating what is the type of the items in the collection, and then you convert that to an iQueryable. So this is how the fake repository works. Let's run this. Okay, and then we have 3 items here. Who's producing that? Who's producing this view here? Well, let's go to the view. We have a view called lists. List has a model, an iQueryable product, or it could be an IEnumerable as well, but it's just the collection, and it has a var, a for each loop. For each variable p product in model, it could be for each product in model, that's fine. And then I'm just printing out the name, the description, and the price. Okay? Now, let's work backwards here. So if we have this view, we must have an action as well. We must have a controller as well. So let's look at our controller. Look here. We have a method called list. And you see lambda expression here again. This is the same as this. Okay, they are the same. Again, you are getting the error here just because I have already one called list. But if I comment this out, what am I missing here? Why is this warning? Oh, it's just because the application is running here. Okay, that's fine. So, again, this style, this is the same as this, but just a different style. This one is using a lambda to return the value. You see, it's a little bit simpler, but I just want to make sure that you know that this is the same as this one. We are returning the view as a return type, as a return value of the list. Okay, the same one. I'm just going to comment the second one here and keep this one. So our list is returning the view. If I call view without the name, it means that the view has the same name as the action. Okay, so we have a view called list, an action called list. We are sending the repository of products. Before I get to the repository here in the details about that, let's see one thing. Remember what I said, that what is the default controller? In the chat, anyone? Default controller. It's already a week up, okay. Default controller is home controller, yes. Default action, Ravi, default action is index, okay? So default controller is home, default action is index. However, we don't have a home controller here. We have a product controller. We don't have an index action here. We have a list. We have a list action. Well, first of all, let me show you why we can use list. We can use another controller that is not the default. We can use another action that is not the default. To look at this, we can go to anyone? Which class, which file can I modify that? The startup, yes. So if I look at the startup and I look at the routing mechanism, look, we no longer have use MVC with default routes. We have use MVC, and then we are defining this thing here called routes. I'm not gonna go into details about this right now. There will be a talk exclusively about this, but for now I'm just gonna give you some hints. Look at this. I'm creating a new default routing that says that the default controller is product and the default action is list. So in a way, I rebuilt my defaults and I've changed the default controller to be product and the default action to be list. Okay? So if I say something like /home/index, home is the controller, index is the action. But if I don't say anything in the URL, then controller becomes automatically products, action becomes automatically list. What you see here equals to product and equals to list. This is just stating the defaults. It doesn't mean that it's always product. It doesn't mean that it's always list. It means that if there is no controller defined, the default controller is product. If there's no action defined, the default action is list. That's why you did put list in view list products. Okay, so let's go there to the controller. Yeah, I did not put here in this example. I mean, do you mean another example? Think. Where in this example here, where do I see view list? Oh, I see. That's why you did put list. You did not. I guess that you mean you did not put, correct? Yeah, so I did not put. Yes, because you said you did. Okay, so no, actually, so here's the thing. It's not really because of that thing, to be quite honest with you. Because, listen, I could have said this. Now, I don't need to say that. It's not because of the default. It's because the view is also called list. So if the view name matches the action name, I don't need this. Okay? So, but what I'm stating right now, no, the fact that view is called list and action is called list, this is why I don't have to, okay? This has nothing to do with the default routing. The default, what it's telling me is that, and I will run this again. Let's run this. Look, the URL has no controller, has no action. So we need a default controller and a default action. Traditionally, the default controller is home, the default action is index. However, because in our project, well, we didn't want to put a home controller, we didn't want to put an index action, I have to say, what is the new default controller? What is the new default action? So if there's no controller in the URL, the default controller is product. If there's no action in the URL, the default action is list. Okay? So we broke away from the default routing and we build our own definitions. Okay? Now, don't worry about the complexities here. We're going to be exploring this in more details a little bit later. For now, I just wanted to give you a sense of this. Okay, so let's go back here to our controller. Let's look at our controller. So, okay, so now you understand what's going on. Now we know that why product control is the one being created, why list is the one being called. We know that because now we know that we modified, we created our own routing rules. I get it, everyone. This might be slightly complex, and as I said, I'll keep saying that about MVC. MVC has a lot of moving parts. As we progress, as we practice this more, those concepts will be internalized better over time to all of you. Now, I'm gonna start to mention about a very, very important concept when it comes to MVC. Let me tell you this. In a job interview, what I'm going to tell you now, you may not know anything, you may not know how to answer anything in the job interview, but tell them that you know this, and that's what I'll be talking about next. Let's look at this. We have declared at the very top a repository. Okay? It's a private one. It's a private repository The repository is our collection of products, okay? Our in-memory collection of products. If a controller is dealing with, usually a controller is dealing with data. Data comes from the model. In our first example, remember our student system, we were creating our data inside the controller. Now it's time to move our data outside the controller to a repository. So we need to make a reference to that repository. And we do that here by declaring an I repository called repository. But remember, interfaces, you cannot instantiate interfaces. You cannot use interfaces. You cannot instantiate them. So you declare an interface here called repositories, but you cannot use it. So what's the point of that? What's the point of that repository? Well, at some point in our code, we have to instantiate this repository. We have to make it concrete, to make it real. So far, we have developed our, I'm not going to touch on the other repository, I'm just going to touch on the fake repository. We have created our fake repository. That is a class of type iRepository. Okay, so now you know that this list is bringing the repository, the products, and you know that these products, those 3 products, they are these ones. Okay? Do you agree with that? Do you agree that those 3 products are the ones being displayed here? Do you agree with that? Does that make sense? Okay, so again, the products that we are hard coding are the products that are being displayed. Because of that, if we go to the controller, we know that this repository here, I know it's a bit confusing. That's fine. That's fine, and that's expected. Okay, that's natural. That's normal. But here's the thing. This repository somehow became what? Somehow it became, because it's declared as an iProduct repository, but mysteriously, magically, this repository becomes what? Again, this goes for everybody. Come on, it becomes what type? Which type it becomes eventually? Because I'm listing here a list of products. It became concrete, but it became concrete. It became what type? What type did it become? Which okay, iQueryable is actually products. I'm talking about repository. Repository is an iProduct repository, which is an interface. Which classes are in our project here? Which class is inheriting from iProduct repository? Which class is inheriting from it? Yes. So fake repository inherits from it. So somehow, repository became fake repository. But look at this. Can you see here in this file, can you see any reference to fake repository in this class? Oh, we don't have any reference to fake repository here. So how does it know that repository becomes fake repository? How is it possible? Again, you don't have the answer to that. Inheritance, yes, there is an inheritance there, Sally. But so what? I mean, I know that fake repository inherits from my product repository, but I'm not stating that here. nowhere here I say that, oh, make repository a fake repository. Nowhere here I'm saying that. As Tank says, there's magic here. Somewhere in our codes, somewhere it's saying that. Somewhere it's telling that. Does any one of you have a guess about that? So Young is saying sports store models. So in models, well, models is the namespace. So in the namespace, we know that we have iProduct repository, which is an interface, and we have fake repository, product repository, which is inherited from interface. And look, I'm just going to introduce you to that. We also have EF from Entity Framework, product repository. It's also coming from, it inherits from iProduct repository. So right now, look at this. We have two classes. And let's go to the diagram here. We have two classes inheriting from iProduct repository. We have fake product repository and we have entity framework product repository. We have two classes inheriting from the same interface. How come our controller knows that this repository is supposed to be the fake one? We have two. How did it decide that it's the fake one? How did it do that? Because we have two. There's nothing here so far pointing me that says if you need an iProduct repository, give it a fake repository, not an entity framework repository. How does it know? By the list name. By the list name. Do you mean? I'm not sure what you mean, Juhi. List view. It has get property. Well, both of them have get properties. Look, we have get property here as well. In the entity framework product repository, we have a get too. And again, fake repository, we have the gets here. So both of them have gets. Both of them. They all have gets. Okay, things get more weird if we look closely enough. Yeah, so again, it's confusing. Right now we have one iProduct repository. We have two classes inherited from it. Somehow, magically, our code knows that we need the fake repository. Okay. Sally says list view. Well, list view, let's have a look at our list view. List view doesn't say anything, Sally. There is nothing here that tells me that use fake repository, not entity framework repository. It doesn't say anything. So far, nothing here is saying that. Sally, because we did not. Well, we did not create the entity framework repository. Well, the class is here. The class is here already. I didn't mention it too much yet, but the class is here. The entity framework is here. The fake product is here. Basically, there's no different. Well, the implementation is different, but in general, they are very similar. They both have a product's property, but one comes from hard-coded information. The other one comes from the database. And I'll explain this a little bit better next. But okay, Tang, we're getting there. We're getting there. So you're talking about startup. Okay, we're getting there. So again, this code is available to you, okay? So you can download this code. You can download this code from Centennial so you can open it and have a look around. Okay, so the route. In the route, again, there's nothing here in the routing that talks about the data. Look at our diagram. The route here doesn't know anything about the data here. They are not connected at all, okay? So let's have a look here. So Tang is talking about service configure service, and then what, Tang? Again, we're getting there. Yes, that's where it is. Look at this line of code here, everyone. Look at this. This is where the magic happens. Look at this. And let me think here. Yeah, if you answer this question I'm gonna ask now, I'm gonna give you 1 bonus point. I'm gonna give you 1 bonus point. What is this? What is the name of what you see right here? There's this, and that's the one. If there's one thing that I really want you to leave this course knowing, the course, I'm not talking about today, I'm talking about the entire course. I want you to leave knowing about this. You can go to a job interview and you can say, I don't know about all those things that you are asking, but I know about this. What is this? What is the name? What is this concept here? There is a name for this. I'm gonna give you a few sections. Data segregation. Not really. It's not the right term yet. Beno, good to see you around, Beno. Dependency injection. Yes. That's it. Dependency injection. Okay? I don't know how you knew that. How did you know that? How did you guys know that? Oh, you Google? Oh, okay. Just Google. What did you Google? I mean, I'm truly curious here. What did you Google? What did you put in Google to get that answer? Because, I mean, did you put, you put add transient. Okay, very good. Nice trick. I love Google. Google is there for that. So yes, dependency injection. Everyone, I cannot say that enough. This is a complicated concept. I get it. I got confused when I saw this for the first time. But one of the things that I keep talking about. Oh yes, there's a dependency injection. Oh yes, there's a dependency injection here as well. Okay, good. So one of the things that I say a lot about when we're dealing with MVC is that in MVC we trust. We trust in MVC. And that's what we do here. By having this line of codes, here's what this line is doing. Every time that I need an iProduct repository, it's gonna give automatically a fake product repository because I put this line. This line is creating a dependency between iProduct repository and fake product repository. In the future, I think towards the end of this chapter, what you're gonna be doing is we're gonna be replacing fake repository with EF product repository. And then our application will be automatically connecting to the database instead of connecting to a fake repository, just by changing one single line of code. Okay, so with this, because we are creating this mapping, we are creating a map. Every time the application needs an iProduct repository, provide a fake product repository. Now let's go back to our controller. Look at here. Look at what it says. So I declared the repository, but what is this? What is this that I selected there? Who can tell me what is that? Or better yet, just this thing here. What is this that I selected? Yes, Juhi. This is the constructor. The constructor of the controller. Yes, Tang. The constructor. Okay? But you may say, Ederson, who is building who is calling this constructor? Because if you look at the code right now, nowhere in the code is saying declare a product controller, new product controller. Nowhere in the code is saying that. But somewhere this product controller is getting created. The default controller. Yeah, so actually, here's what is happening. MVC, in MVC we trust. So MVC, behind the scenes, anytime that I load this URL, it looks what is the controller. The controller is the default one. In our case, product controller. So MVC behind the scenes is the one instantiating a new product controller because of the routing. So the routing in our startup says that default controller is product, default action is list. Because of that, the routing mechanism knows that it needs to create a product controller in a list and call a list action. So MVC behind the scenes is creating a product controller for us. Because it's creating, it's calling the constructor. And the constructor requires a parameter. And this parameter is also an iProduct repository called repo. Now, as MVC calls this constructor, it sees that it needs a parameter of type iProduct repository. Well, iProduct repository is an interface. Guess what? MVC will check, do I have any mapping that says if I need an iProduct repository, what is the concrete class? Oh, it has. Look at this. Because we have added this. In the mapping, there's a table that says, whenever you need an iProduct repository, give it a new fake product repository. So, when the constructor gets called, repo becomes a fake product repository. And then we assign repo to our local repository. Look at this. Then this is how magic happens. Our repository inside the controller becomes a fake repository. And that's, my friends, is the whole story. That's what dependency injection means. In one single place, I can flip from one repository to another one without much trouble. And then, whenever I need that interface, it goes back to the mapping and sees, oh, I have a reference to an iProduct repository. Which concrete class do I need to use? Fake product repository. Or entity framework later on that we're going to change this. We're going to change this line. So again, this is called dependency injection. This is such an advanced concept, you know. And again, I get it. Not all of you got this for the first time. I'll be hammering this. I'll be insisting on this point for so long that eventually you're gonna get it. Review this video, go through this video again, the last part here. This is such an important aspect of this entire course, okay? As I said, if I want you to live with one thing from this course is knowing dependency injection, really. Questions there? Tang, does the two have to be the same format? The two, what do you mean by the two? You mean those two here, Tang? Well, and they are, because both of them inherit from iProduct repository. Look, if I open Entity Framework product repository, it inherits from iProduct repository. If I look at the other one, it inherits from them. So it has to inherit from the same interface. Okay? Again, it's not the same property really field thing, it's the same interface. The correct way to put it is the same interface. They have to inherit from the same interface that's been mapped, okay? That's being mapped here. They both have to inherit from the same interface. Okay, a few more questions here. So, who is using constructor prof? Okay, so the constructor here, Sally, it's MVC. Behind the scenes, as we type the URL, as the routing recognizes that I need a product controller, MVC is the one instantiating the controller for us. We don't need to worry about that. Behind the scenes, MVC is doing that for us. Okay? Okay, so Johi, what would be the difference between when we use interface and when we import the repo object manually? You mean, I'm assuming that you mean instead of using iProduct repository, we would use the fake product repository already? Is that what you mean? Okay, Joey, so when you are connecting them directly, you are coupling them too much together, you see? Let's go to our diagram here. So our controller should not care about the way your data is stored. It should not care about that. Our controller should not care about the details of your storage here. So when you use an iProduct, when you use an interface, it becomes easier to flip from one storage to another type of storage, because you just do that in one single line of code. Imagine that you have many controllers, and then you're gonna have to declare this repository many times throughout the different controllers. Now, if you change to another repository, you have to change in many locations instead of changing in just one single location. You may say, but yes, to-lose couple, that's a great description, Juhi, to-lose coupling. Because here's the thing, you may say, but Edison, in a real application, I'm just gonna be connecting to one database. I'm not gonna be connecting to multiple databases or, well, here's the thing. Over time, as your application grows, Juhi, you might want to test another type of storage. Right now, we're gonna be using the entity framework library approach. Maybe later you want to use another type of storage and you want to try your code with that. So by using this approach of dependency injection, again, you can test another storage approach very easily just by flipping one single line of code. Okay, maybe it's a different version of the framework that came up and you want to test that. So again, one single line as compared to, and again, it goes back to make it more loosely coupled. That's really it, you know. No problem, Julie. I hope that it makes sense. Why we don't have a controller constructor in the pod invites? Because we didn't need that. Because we are not using dependency injection there yet thing. Okay. Pod invites was just an introduction to this whole topic, you know. It was already a lot for a lot of people. So again, we didn't want to go that far yet. So it was a very basic example there. Here we are using the constructor because constructor has a job. It has a job to tell the application, the class, the product controller class, what is the repo? What is repo? Repo is the fake repository, is the entity framework repository. There in the pod invites, we didn't have that sophistication yet, okay? That complexity yet. Everyone, again, it's okay to feel a bit overwhelmed. Go through this recording. Again, next class, we're gonna be getting deeper into the database. Today, we didn't even, to be quite honest, we didn't even touch the database yet. We just touched the entity framework, the fake repository. You got to understand that. Next class, we're gonna be diving deep into the database, the entity framework, and you're gonna be hands-on. This class, I was the one talking. Next class, you will be the one doing it, okay? See you all next class. See you Friday. Have a good rest. Have a good week. Good rest of the day. And again, have a good one. See you all Friday. Benno, send me a private note here. I need to have a look at your attendance there, okay? So, again, send me an email. Send me an email. Let's communicate a little bit. I was getting worried about your attendance because I didn't see you much around, okay? I cannot stick around to talk, but send me an email. We can follow up the details via email, okay? Have a good one, everyone. Bye now.